So about a year ago, I take some dog food back to Walmart that we had bought just 2 days before, and it was really expensive dog food. And our smallest dog, Sunny, her breed, which is mini Schnauzer, they are prone to kidney problems. So you really got to be careful and feed them low fat, high protein, good clean food. So we buy the good stuff for her, and the other dogs get stuff made for bigger bigger dogs. Well, it turns out that that food she wouldn't eat, she didn't like, and we had two more bags of it, and they were like $20 a bag. So I brought those two unopened bags back to Walmart just like 2 days later. And I didn't have the receipt, but you can bring things back, and what they do is give you a gift card. And you just, I usually just go get what I need and use that gift card to pay for it. And in this particular time, I was going to see if they'd just switch out the dog food that she didn't like for some dog food that she did like. So I take it to the customer service desk, and the lady scans it, and it comes to like $2.11. I said, well, that's wrong. I said, I just paid $20 for these. They're about $20 a bag. And she says, well, the cash register, it's only scanning $2.11. And I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm telling you, it's $20. You don't have dog food back there for $2.11. Something's wrong. And she would rather me just shut up and take my $2.11 per bag and not push it. And, if it was a quarter, if it was even a dollar, I'd have just said, well, screw it. Just give me the, $2.11. But we're talking about an $18 difference for two bags. So that's $36. So I insist she calls her manager. I don't want to cause any trouble, but I'm not going to go away with, number one, dog food that my dog won't eat, and number two, $2.11 for a bag of dog food I paid $20 for. So she gets her department manager, and the department manager takes over, scans my dog food, and it scans $2.11. And she says the same thing. Well, there's nothing we can do. The computer scans $2.11. That's all we can give you. I said, no, there's got to be more than you can do. I mean, you're telling me that you can't override a computer, that if the computer says, it's raining out and we can look up and see a blue sky, it's raining out? Really? Is that what you're going to do? I said, I want to see the store manager. I mean, I hate we have to go this route, but clearly somebody has some sense and can figure this out. The store manager shows up, takes over, scans my two bags of dog food, and they both come up to $2.11 each. And he says, well, I know there's something wrong here, but, there's really nothing we can do. We don't have a way to get around the computer, and unless we take this out of our... And now, by this time, I'm a little pissed. I just cannot believe that humans cannot figure out a way to supersede, to open a cash register. I said, well, how about this? The brand that she likes is exactly the same price as this. How about I put these two bags back and grab the two bags of the stuff she likes? Will that be okay? Because that's all I want is the dog food that she'll eat. Now, and when you give me the gift card with that return dog food on it, I'm going right back there to get the dog food that she'll eat. No, can't do that. That messes up our inventory. And, once it leaves the store, our inventory orders two more. And so the guy is just... I cannot believe this is where it's ending. And I was so mad. I said... I can't tell you what I said, but I told him where to put the dog food, and I walked away. I left my dog food on the counter. And that was one. I have many. Here's the last one. This was just a few days ago. Remember when I got some paint at Walmart to paint my shop where I was redoing my tools? So they had one can And a couple days went by, and I didn't have enough of that paint, so I went back and I got another can. Well, in those 2 days, no, okay, I'm wrong. Back it up. I needed 2 cans. They only had one. They actually had two. You know what? I'm going to have to start this all over. I'm totally messing this up. What happened? I go in there, and they're in the process of remodeling the paint department. They're redoing shelves, they're moving paint around. And they have put this one shelf so high that I, a 6'1" person, 6'2", 1 3/4, whatever the hell I am, I can barely reach the paint at this shelf. And there's a woman in there, and she's, in charge of moving shelves and everything, and she's in charge of the paint department. I said, boy, this ain't going to work. I can barely reach this. You're going to have some old lady reach up here for a can of paint, and it's going to come tumbling down and hit her in the head. Or you'll have to put a step ladder over here so people can reach it. And she didn't say a word to me. She just kept on working. She totally ignored me. So, okay. So I reached up and I grabbed my can of paint, and there was another can of paint that was way back there, and I needed two. So I got one of their paint stirrers, and I got it hooked behind that can of paint, and I drug it over to the edge of the shelf, and then I reached up and grabbed it with my hand, and the can had paint all over it. The lid, this can had obviously been dropped, and the lid had come open and paint had leaked out. The can was dented. So, all right, I've already got paint on my hand, so I take the can over to the lady that ignored me earlier, and I said, ma'am, this can has already been dropped off of this shelf, and it's leaking, and there's paint everywhere. I got it all over my hands now. And she turns around and looks at me, and she still doesn't say a word, and she won't take the paint can out of my hand. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'm just going to set it over here on your counter, and I'm going to use one of your paper towels to wipe this paint off my hand. And that's what I do. And I'm just kind of at a loss for her completely ignoring me, not answering me, not offering to take the paint can. Couldn't care less that the shelf was too high for anybody to reach. So I come home with one can of paint, and I use it all on my wall, and it needs 2 cans. So 2 days later, I go back thinking, well, maybe they've got, more cans, because from what I understand, the dog food incident, when one goes out the door, they order another one. So they should have another one, or at least ordered it. And I go back to Walmart, and do you know that girl put that can of paint, still open, still with paint all over it, back on that shelf? I could not believe it. And I didn't tell anybody. I've had my experience with management there. This is the Walmart in Minden, Louisiana, just in case you was wondering. And boy, I tell you what, how do you deal with people that are just so bad at their job? There's just no hope. There's no hope that they'll ever be good at their job. They have no desire, absolutely zero desire to do a good job. They come in, engage with people as little as humanly possible, do as little as they can possibly get by with, and get their check. And there's no sense of pride. There's no satisfaction for helping a customer. There's no sense of self-worth for getting up and doing a good job. And that just doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't seem to. And it's prevalent that lower paying jobs, I guess. And I've always been on the, I'm a blue collar worker. I've always been on the lower end of pay scales, and I have no education, so. But I've always felt good about doing a good job. I mean, do people just not get that feeling about doing a good job anymore? And it seems prevalent at places like Walmart. And some of them people have been there 10, 20 years. I know a girl that has worked at Walmart for over 20 years. So they do have long-term people, and you would think it would be in their best interests to figure out a way to get satisfaction from a job, to get pleasure from doing a good job. But you just don't seem to find it. Anyway, that was my Walmart story. I just couldn't believe she had turned around. And she didn't even take the time to hammer the lid back on the can. She put the exact same can back on the shelf, still cracked open, still with paint all over it. And the next person that goes and picks it up is going to pick it up, and that lid's going to come clean off. Because they'll drop it. Because that shelf is barely... I was barely able to reach it, and I'm 6'1.5", 3/4, 7/8. So, there's my Walmart rant. That's BC's Sunday rant. Have a good Sunday, y'all. Oh, next Sunday, it'll be a little different. Next Sunday, I'm going to tell you a little something about myself. Something I've learned about myself. And it's happened through YouTube. YouTube has taught me something about myself, and I'm going to tell you about that next Sunday. See you then. Have a good week.